Welcome to That Game Show, the awkward, inappropriate, random podcast that occasionally talks about games.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to That Game Show. Kyle and I are back. We haven't broken up yet. It's been a while. It feels good to be back. Kyle is just shaking his hands in the air. He's doing jazz hands. He's that excited, or he's having a seizure. One of those two. Kyle, are you having jazz hands out of happiness or seizure?
No, I'm just messing with you. Both,
yeah,
neither at the same time.
Oh, neither at the same time. So
correct.
Okay. Excellent. Very good. All right. If you are watching us on YouTube, we are trying the YouTube thing again. And to be honest, like for the podcast listeners, you're definitely going to get this episode. Will the YouTube be up? I don't know. I got to see how this looks, to be honest. It's been a while since we've done YouTube. Like the last time we did YouTube, I think was just like early That Game Show days. Like this was like pre-you, I believe.
Well, that's not, I mean, I uploaded some videos. They
were
just like,
but like we haven't done a podcast episode like recorded onto YouTube where they see our faces.
True. Is it a podcast if we're on YouTube?
Yes. That's what everybody's doing now. It's like we did it in the beginning and then we stopped doing it and then everybody else jumped on the train. Now we're going to be looking like we're bandwagoners.
I mean, one might just say that we've taken the novel idea and made it better.
Have we, though?
Look at this phenomenal display of technology on my hand.
For the podcast listening audience, Kyle's camera, for some reason on the right side of it, just likes to drop color bars. I don't understand it, but it's funny because actually good camera doesn't even display a picture. So yes. Like, that's the weird part, is that you have a much more expensive camera. For some reason, Discord doesn't like it.
Yeah, Discord hates me.
Yes. It's been a while. I think the last episode we did was July, just before Tampa Bay Comic-Con, and that was also around the time when you did school. So I feel like we have to give some reasons as to, like, why we didn't have an episode for, what are we going on? 6 months? 7 months?
I don't know how to tell you this, but July?
Yeah.
That's
it's a lot longer.
10 months.
It's about
that's
10
like
months.
9 or 10 months.
Yeah. I was hoping it was less to numb the pain, but yeah. So, yeah. I think the big thing is that you went back to school. Again, like your professional career is you save people's lives for a living, and you went back to school to learn more on how to save more people's lives in the future.
And go into massive debt at the same time.
Exactly. I think if you just say the word college, it automatically is implied that you're going to go into massive amounts of debt.
Always wonder when people say college and university, some people are like, oh, you mean university? And I'm like, is there a distinction that you wish to make with that? Or is it just a flex? Or like, what's going on here?
Yeah, it's a bit of a flex. Like, I think that's like, if you were to say, oh, I went to Valencia, like, that's going to be like, oh, what is that? It's a community college.
It's community college.
But it has the fanciest name. That's the fanciest name for a community college I've ever heard.
Rollins is pretty fancy.
Rollins is
community college.
It's not a community college. I don't even know if it's considered a university.
It's not a university.
Like,
but I don't know.
Look it up real quick. Like, it's got to be considered something. Anyway,
college.
It is a college. Yes,
it's a college.
Yes, can confirm it is a college. So Kyle has been going back to school, which makes his schedule complete opposite of mine. He is up at like 6 a.m. and you're done at like 5.
Wake up at 5 a.m. Go to bed at when I'm done with class 5 p.m.
Yeah, and I am at work from 1 p.m. to 9 p.m. And by that time, Kyle's in bed for at least 3 hours.
Yeah, I'm going to bed at 10 p.m.
Yeah, and so it sucks that like we can't get a lot of episodes out. So, but luckily, you're on a break now, and you can adjust your schedule. So
yeah, I can stay up until 5 a.m. like I used to.
Oh man, those were the days.
Those were the days.
Good old theater days. We used to work at the movie theater, get off work at 3, and don't go to bed until about 6.
fueled by nothing but Mountain Dew, the hatred of humanity, and a little bit of questioning what your role is in life.
Yes. Oh, there's a lot of that. As for me, on the other hand, I just bought a house.
Today.
Which, yes, literally, like, as we're recording this, like, I just bought a house this day. And it's absolutely nuts. It sucks.
The house is nuts?
What's that?
The house is nuts?
No, the whole process is just nuts. Like, anytime I do any adulting, I feel like it's crazy, given my, like, I don't know, I've never expected to own a house by the age of 35, given, like, how everything is. But also, like, the housing market is just crazy. Like, we literally, like, I'll tell you the worst house that we went to. This was a house, it was $330,000. We go in, this was essentially a guy who bought the house and thought, oh, I can flip it. And he just put on new paint. And that was it. And it's just like, I go in, it's like, oh, I see water stains on the ceiling that just got painted over. I see the porch has this leak like on the roof. And then it's like the piece de resistance. In the shower, there's a bleeping window. Like, and not just like a frosted window, a full-sized bleeping window in the shower. And so it's like, as I'm showering, I get to just like wave to my neighbors with all three of my arms and just go, hey, how's it going? Like, it's absurd. It's like, who thought this was a good idea? And like, as I just sit around, as I look around, it's like, oh, doors are rusted, a lot of discoloration, and somebody thought, yeah, this is worth over $300,000. No, I wouldn't even put a 3 anywhere in that price.
Listen, this is the same market where you can rent out like a Barbie doll house for 1.5 thousand on Zillow. Like, it's all fair game, dude.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say you could rent out a Barbie house and be charged $1.5 million because that's California housing.
Oh yeah, no, this is Florida.
Yes. So yeah, we're not that. Yeah, like our prices are bad. They're not that bad, at least not yet. As per the course with us, whenever we take a long hiatus, it means we usually miss the end of the year, which means it's Game of the Year time in
the middle of the year.
In the middle of the year. There's going to be a point to where we just do a Game of the Year like in November of the next year.
Why don't we just call it mid-Game of the Year awards? Or,
No, because we
played.
We always do it at the point where like everybody else has already done it. Now we aren't lost in the shuffle.
Yeah. And every year, I feel like you're going to ask me, and I'm going to be like, oh, yeah, that game. And then, you're going to list a game that's worth $70 and, required time. And I'm going to be like, I have neither one of those things. But I did play this really cool game called, Minesweeper on my computer for 5 minutes while I waited for my exam to load. Pretty cool.
Nice. Definitely not it. So, like, did you play anything? Like, I know you're in school, you're saving people's lives, good for you, being a nice, respectable person, but did you actually, like, play anything that came out in 2022?
Oh, see, you prefaced it with 2022. I was going to hit you with that game with the T-Rex where your Wi-Fi hasn't loaded yet, so you're just like the T-Rex hopping over the cacti.
Okay.
I played that multiple times. That was a lot of fun. Okay, games that came out in 2022.
Do you know what came out in 2022?
I'm not pretending that there's a list in front of me that I'm just scrolling through casually that are like, ooh, look at all these games I didn't play. I did play some games.
Did you play Elden Ring?
I did not.
God of War Ragnarok?
I did not. I had a patient that was playing Ragnarok. That was interesting.
Okay. Neat, I guess.
I was doing my rounds and I walked in the room and he's playing God of War and I'm like, how did you get this PlayStation in here?
All right. Very good. Immortality.
Don't even know what that is.
Tunic.
That's a thing you wear.
Okay, very good. Tiny Tina's Wonderlands.
That sounds like an experience. Is that Borderlands related?
Yes, it is.
Nailed it. Still
Yes,
got it.
it is a D&D campaign, but
Oh, that sounds really fun.
it's a fun game. Like, it's
like
not
it.
in my top 5 for the year, but it was still fun.
I'd play that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm never against D&D style anything.
Yeah. I feel like the writing in it is good. I feel like you don't have to be a D&D player to play it or to enjoy it. I do think, though, if you are one, you would like it a lot more. Okay, you're not gonna contribute anything to that.
Fantastic. You know, that insight was impeccable. There's nothing I can add. As a feeble-minded, haven't played games of 2022, that insight was just chef's kiss with mind-blown explosion on the top.
So you're already in mid-season form at this point when it comes
Never
to
missed a beat, honestly.
Yeah, you haven't.
Chase Bunker.
I wonder what that meeting was like when they said, "Hey guys, how about we do this sci-fi game and have like 500 planets?"
Kyle Helmstetter.
Todd Howard at his desk just rolls slowly with the sun shining on his face ominously, and he goes, "No, we're gonna do over 1,000. I want Skyrim in space.
That's impossible. No game has ever produced over 1,000 planets.
We're Bethesda, not Bethesda can't."
This is That Game Show.
Did you
Let's
play Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin?
Dude, I've never played a Final Fantasy game. Come on.
I won't lie. I kind of hold on to the hot take that that's a top 5 game of the year. Like, I liked it a lot more than I should have. And I know that people...
You shouldn't have?
I mean, like, when you watch the trailer for it, it's very, like, cheesy and campy, where it's, like, literally, it's just the main character just going, "I'm gonna kill chaos! Chaos! I've only got one thing on my mind. Killing chaos." And it's literally, like, it for the entire trailer. And it's pretty great. Like, it starts off as, like, dumb action movie, and it kind of gets, like, thought-provoking in the end. Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Ignoring your edgy 2009, sorry, I had to say 2009, but ignoring your edgy tendencies of a middle-aged man, I did play one game I just found out.
What's that?
Get ready for this. You're gonna love this.
Oh, no.
It's a me game. No, it's not a bad thing. It's a good one. This is a real answer. You're gonna be happy.
Okay.
Pokemon Legends of Arceus.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I did. That was probably the only game that I shelled out more than $10 for when it came out. And I actually spent the full 60.
Okay. That's going to lead in perfectly to what I have on Nintendo a little bit later. I've got something on Nintendo that I've been wanting to say for a long time, and I feel like people are afraid to say it.
Have I not said it? Because I've gone on some Nintendo rants.
I don't think you have.
Oh, this must be something good then.
I'll give you guys a little teaser because it's going to happen a little bit later on. This is going, like, about pricing.
Oh, dude, I've no doubt said something about this, but I'm curious to hear about it.
So we'll get to that a little bit later. My game of the year is, I think it's obvious, it's Elden Ring. Like, Elden Ring, I still think is just an incredible game. I understand when people say God of War. I think that's also recency bias that kicks in. Like, God of War was, like, the hottest thing that just came out, and I feel like, yeah, you can appreciate that it's a good game, but also, like, you're doing your award, like, as the game is just coming out. So, like, the experience is still fresh. And I feel like it should have been just a giant clean sweep with Elden Ring. And I'm excited about the DLC that came out. I was hoping that it was going to secretly come out the same day as Horizon Forbidden West DLC, just so it could be so perfectly on brand with Horizon.
I'll be honest with you. I am so tempted to play Elden Ring. You know how you look at a game and you just you're like, you see the little teaser trailer and you see the reviews and they're all, like, just so good, and you're like, I don't know. And you know this. My preference of games has never been soul games because I'm like, oh, they just drive me insane. The difficulty, the memorizing the patterns, it's too much for me to enjoy when I'm just trying to sit down and play a game. Elden Ring kind of does speak to me though, especially the mods. The mods look hilarious. Like Thomas the Tank Engine being one of the bosses. It's kind of cool.
Elden Ring is a lot of fun, and I'll say this. I never did Souls games. I think I did like a kind of like a group team effort with the Demon Souls remake. My wife, who played along and isn't a big Souls person, absolutely loves it. Like, she put in over 200 hours into Elden Ring, and also, and this is one of the craziest things ever, again, has only played like Demon Souls and that's it. So she's not a Soulsborne expert. Beat Millennia on the second try. And it's like, I'm sorry, what? Like, there's no reason for her to do this, and yet she did. And like, that's the hardest boss in all of Souls like gaming. And she's like, oh, that wasn't too bad.
She just called you soft.
Yes, she did. There's a bunch of those moments where she just like casually just does something, and I'm just like, and all my years of gaming, what the bleep did you just do?
Good censorship so far.
Thank you. I'm usually good about that.
I am too.
Yeah. Are we going to address the fact that you just randomly changed your background to just some like cyber hacker thing?
What are you talking about? You know, I'm like that guy from Kim Possible, man. You know, like where I'm in the zone.
Do you know his name?
Yes.
Are you going to say it?
No. I'm going to leave the illusion up to you. No one knows the hacker's name. We just exist. Exponentially. Intrapersonally. It's not even what intrapersonally means.
Yeah, no. Are you just saying large words just to make yourself sound like an intellectual?
If I wanted to say large words, I'd say the words like, you know, indubitably your comprehension of my vernacular diction is feeble.
Not bad.
Chase Bunker.
Porky Pig, big environmental kind of guy. Loves the kids, but not in a weird way. Just in like a Porky Pig kind of way.
Kyle Helmstetter.
What's the Porky Pig kind of way?
Like in a way that's legal, I think. Kind of like a respectable way. Like kids are good for the planet and for like, you know, keeping humankind not extinct.
Wow. My God.
Sometimes I wonder what it'd be like to do crystal meth.
This is That Game Show.
So I know you know this about me, but I don't know if the audience does. I refuse to buy games at full price. I am normally someone who buys games on sale, and I will usually wait a few months when a game comes out. Rare is the occasion that I get a game around its release date. Luckily, when I got God of War, or when that was through a gift, or if it was like Horizon, that was also a gift as well. But like, I noticed this the other day. I had a $10 gift certificate to Best Buy, and it's like, okay, it's about to expire, so I'm going to use it. So I was going to use it on a Switch game. Donkey Kong Country Returns. Do you know when that game came out? Donkey Kong Country Returns Tropical Freeze.
Well, it's for the Switch, so it's got to be sometime in the late 2010s into 2020 something.
Yes. So for the Wii U, it came out in 2014. It came out to the Switch in 2018. Their sale for Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze was $40. $20 off.
You did this during the Mario promotion, didn't you?
Yes, I did. I did do this during the Mario promotion. And
the only time they've ever taken off money.
That's my thing. And I feel like nobody really discusses this about Nintendo anymore.
Bro.
Is that their sales are just kind of like a 10-cent raise. You just have to look at them and just go, well, I guess it's better than nothing. Like, Nintendo needs to be taken down a peg again. Like, that's what happened. Like, when you saw them with the GameCube, when they were last in sales of the big three, and they were a struggling console essentially because they couldn't get out like quality products. They had games on sale. They had their player's choice. We even saw that with the Wii, even that was a successful console. And then the Wii.
Whoa. The Wii was never a successful console.
The Wii?
Never was truly a successful console. The Wii had tons of potential. It had immense potential, but I feel like as a delivery sequence, the Wii itself was okay. Let me retract. The Wii itself was okay. It was a potential driven thing. The Wii U was a colossal failure.
The Wii U was the colossal failure.
Okay, I will give you that. The Wii itself.
The Wii itself is the seventh as of 2022. It was the seventh best selling console of all time.
Is that good? Realistically,
I mean, considering like, let me find everything else, but like, think of it as like, let's see, best selling console. Think about it like this. Think about it like this. The PlayStation is first, the 155 million. Then it's the Nintendo DS, Nintendo Switch, Game Boy and Game Boy Color, PlayStation 4, the original PlayStation, and then the Wii.
All right, so let me offer a counterpoint here, though.
Okay.
So you've got, let's say you got $600.
Mm-hmm.
Probably need more, but let's say you had enough money to buy a console, any console you wanted. So excluding PC, you've got, let's call it the big three. You've got you got Xbox,
yes.
You've got PlayStation,
yes.
And you've got Nintendo,
yes.
The issue is that when you talk about these gross selling devices, maybe 10 years ago, there were differences between PlayStation and Xbox. You're like, oh my goodness, like if I buy PlayStation, I get these exclusives. And if I buy Xbox, I get these exclusives. Now with PC, obviously, this is definitely kind of teetering for Xbox, even lesser so, because buying an Xbox is sometimes kind of pointless when you could just have a PC and play
Game Pass. Yeah,
exactly. So that's going to kill their sales a little bit. But now, like, the big thing was when PlayStation 5 and Xbox XS, whatever it's called now, got debuted, they both were, I looked at them both and I'm like, well, specs wise, they're about the same. A little different, but like about the same. One looks like a mini fridge. One looks like it's a futuristic device that's meant to put a probe in my ass. I'm not really sure. Kind of was like, whichever one I can find, I'm gonna buy. But like, that's kind of the mentality nowadays about most consoles. When you have the big two, those two is like, does it matter which one I buy? And it, even going back in time, like PlayStation, like you mentioned, number one, but that's because the competition was the Xbox. And although the Xbox like took off, I don't feel like it was really until the 360 that the Xbox was like popular, if you get my
drift. I mean, the Xbox still outsold the GameCube. So of the big three, it was still low. And so like that was the thing, was that like Nintendo lost that war greatly. And then when the Wii came out, it was one of the best. And then when like the Wii U came out, they tried to make the HD update and that floundered. And so then they had to go big with the Nintendo Switch. So here's my thing, like Nintendo Switch has been out since 2017. Like, we need to start seeing a lot of these older titles, these Mario Odysseys, Mario Kart 8s, even like Mario Golf, or like some of these like lesser Mario titles. We need to start bringing back the player's choice, because it's like Tropical Freeze at this point in 2023 should never be $60. Like, here
Nintendo does not do sales. They don't do sales.
But they used to. No, Nintendo used to do sales. They used to have player's choice, where it's just like, oh, this sold 1 million copies and now we can sell it for $20, and that way more people get to play it. Like, right now, to put things in perspective, Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze has sold over 6 million copies, and it's just around as many copies as Super Mario Sunshine, the third highest selling game for the GameCube. And that was always under a sale. And it's like Nintendo has just like, it gets too big for its britches, and then it gets taken down a peg, and they go, oh no, we need to be more friendly again. And then they get back to it, and then like, oh, we're back on top, and now we just sink. Because here's the thing now with the Switch. It is a portable console that is great for farming simulation games and playing games that came out in 2008. Like, that's what it slowly is becoming. And I feel like right now it's going to be slowly catching up to Nintendo, because for Nintendo, for some reason, it's always that company that is so far in the future, but yet so far in the past. They make the handheld console, but yet they still suck at online play.
Oh, they also know their market truly isn't online play. Like when you think about your Nintendo, you think about Mario, you think about Pokemon. To an extent, now we think about Legend of Zelda, because let's be real, Legend of Zelda's taken off.
Yes.
They've really put some work into it, and they've really kind of revamped the open world's like dynamic for their particular company. Pokemon continues to be one of those games where we will buy it every time if we love Pokemon, because it's labeled Pokemon.
Right.
Was Scarlet and Scarlet
Violet.
and Violet, were they even good? Yes.
People say
and
yes,
no.
but they're also buggy as hell.
They are graphically and just technologically, they are terrible games. They are absolute disasters of what could have been for the Switch. Now, everything else about them, really good. Like, they do still run the same storylines, and they don't really put a lot of emphasis into the characters. They don't have this massive growth and whatnot. Not usually. Like, some kind of do. They don't really care too much about the storytelling as a whole for that. It's, let's be real, they're like, okay, well, we'll just give them some new Pokemon, we'll give them a cool world, we'll put some scenes in there that aren't voiced over, that aren't really doing too well, and they'll love it. Or they'll hate it, but they'll still buy it. And sure enough, they're right. We will buy it because that's what we do. Why change? I mean, we say like, I mean, I agree with you. I think that they hate sales, and they're falling behind in a contest that's just theirs, because who's going to compete with them? Like, no one else is going to come out with a Mario game because they can't, right?
No, but I mean, you also now have the Steam Deck coming out, and there's also, I think Nvidia is going to be, I could be mistaken, but Nvidia is making another portable PC gaming style of console. Let's be honest, it's a matter of time until PlayStation gets the itch again, because they realize, hey, by the way, all these things were just the PS Vita ahead of its time. Like, the Vita walked so that the Steam Deck and the Switch could run, essentially. And
the Vita died.
The Vita, oh yeah, like, the Vita faithful will die on that hill. But, like, if you think about it, it was ahead of its time. And so,
it was, by far.
Yeah, and so, like, I scoffed at it. Like, I just thought, like, wait, why download? Like, that's stupid. I like physical stuff. Now, granted, I still like physical media, especially after what Nintendo has done, especially, like, getting rid of the 3DS shop and all those shops. So it's just the fact that, like, I found this example, and I thought it was perfect. Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. Game of the Year title. On sale for $30. Not even after a year it came out. I haven't even seen a Mario game, a true Nintendo Mario game, not Mario and Rabbids, but a true Mario game. Rare is the occasion that it touches 35.
I feel like for Nintendo, they're one of those companies that kind of just looks at it, and I have to remember that their international sales are also much different than certain other games, because they kind of benefit a little bit more from the eastern side of the world than we think about. I mean, don't get me wrong, PlayStation and Xbox clearly make their own profits off the eastern side of the world as well, but the prevalence of Nintendo in certain cultures is much higher than, like, Halo, for instance, in Japan, right? Like, that kind of sale is a lot different, and their international net worth is far, not gonna say higher, but it's far more prevalent in certain areas of the globe, because that's kind of their market. Like,
yes,
Western is definitely where they make money for sure as well, but like they're making money there too.
That's
something that a lot of companies don't do.
You're right about that, because that's something that Microsoft struggled for the longest time. It was at getting the Asian market. They could never capitalize on, because that was Nintendo and Sony's territory. Like Sony has been able to get at least like getting both sides of the market, but like Nintendo, like you're right. Like it definitely thrives with that side that thrives with the Eastern market. But I feel like now it's sort of losing its Western touch. Like here's the thing, like Breath of the Wild is still going to sell because everyone likes a Zelda game. But like we literally had a Nintendo Direct not too long ago where it was literally farming simulator after farming simulator. Oh, hey, here's this remastered game that's also a farming simulator.
You know what else? Also, I feel like this is what keeps Nintendo from sales is, you think about God of War. That's a great example of a game that, just came out. I haven't really played the God of War series. So when I see the God of War is coming out with this new game and I see the teaser, I'm like, dude, this looks incredible. I really want this game, but I know nothing about the series. Well, guess what I could do is go and buy the series on deals because they're on sale, and I can play the whole series up to the new game, buy the new game when it comes out as they planned it out. This is where Nintendo doesn't have to do this, because most Mario games, in fact, probably all of them, don't really have continuity with one another.
No.
The first game that may have that is going to be the Legend of Zelda game.
Yeah.
But
unless you count Mario and Rabbids, like that might be the other one. But other than that, you are correct that a lot of the Nintendo games do not have continuity.
Makes it harder when you want to play it because, well, it makes it easier because you don't have to sit there and be like, oh, dude, I really want to play Pokemon Scarlet Violet, but I don't know nothing about the Pokemon series. You're probably not going to go and be like, let me start with Red and Blue and make my way through all the generations, because that isn't how people think. They're probably just going to be like, oh, if I want to play it, I'll buy the series. You buy Scarlet Violet, you play it, you're like, dude, this was really good. I think I want to try another one. But most, and then they might go back a generation. But for kids who this is marketed to, they also probably won't go back because the graphics aren't going to be what they're used to. And they're going to be like, ew, pixels.
Yeah. I think the last game to have some form of continuity with Mario is probably Mario Galaxy. I'm trying to remember, like, because I don't think any of like the U Deluxe or Mario 3D World, I don't think there's any continuity there between games, and I'm trying to think if there's like any one of those like hidden ones, like a Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga or something.
All right, I was trying to think of like a Bowser's Inside Story with like follow up, but I don't think so.
Yeah.
Makes it harder. It makes it easier for them to be like, why bother throwing a deal on a game that may just be lost to time? And if people come back to it and they really want to play it, they'll buy it.
I miss these conversations.
I miss you.
I miss you.
Chase Bunker.
I think it's a game that's best played with a loved one. And it's like, yeah, you can play with a friend, and you'll get some enjoyment out of that.
Your cousin.
Kyle Helmstetter.
If you live in Alabama, yes.
This is That Game Show.
Thank you all very much for watching on YouTube or listening to the podcast. If you like what you heard today, please consider subscribing, rating, and reviewing. It helps out the show greatly. You can follow me on Twitter at Chase Bunker. Kyle, you can follow him on Instagram at Scandinavian Sensations, where you see his Loki cosplay. It still looks great.
Coming back this year, if I go.
Yeah. We still haven't gotten that announcement yet. So yeah, that is true. Thank you all very much for listening, and we'll talk to you all in the next episode.
Thanks for listening. Make sure you check out more episodes on iTunes and on our YouTube page, youtube.com/That Game Show. And follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/That Game Show.